not growing up with great coaching, I was really forced to really analyze the game and kind of come to conclusions and second guess what I was taught. So there was a time, about 16 years old, where I got some really good coaching, and I thought, holy, and I'm sure a lot of minor league coaches especially came across this situation. If I knew that when I was younger, I could have been a lot better hockey player. And once I got a bit older, I decided that I would start a website so I could share that information so anyone could have access to it. So anyone, anywhere can improve their skills. So what I'm doing here is a shooting progression. When I was a kid, I was taught how to shoot the puck, and I'm sure a lot of coaches might teach this same way, which it's pretty standard. You start with the puck, front of your body, pull it back, draw the weight to the back leg's loaded, you push off that back leg, bringing the puck towards the net, and fully extend that leg, transfer the weight onto the front leg, pull back with the top hand, push with the bottom hand, and point the toe where you want the puck to go. Now when you're teaching a kid, that's a lot of information to take on, right? And what I've done is kind of broken that down into simple steps that you can take one piece or all the pieces and still have a successful shot. So that's the whole idea, is just breaking down a more complicated motion and making it really easy to digest. So two things that I want to address. One is that method that I just showed, how to shoot. There's some coaches that will call that the only way to shoot. And if you watch NHL hockey, any pro hockey, you'll see a lot of players getting a shot off like this. They're shooting off that inside leg, right? And if you see coaches in minor hockey taking this shot, you could hear the coach from the bench yelling, "Never shoot like that. That's the wrong way to shoot. You're shooting off the wrong foot." But if you watch pro hockey, you'll see a lot of players are scoring goals that way. So that's one thing I wanted to address. There's a good clip on YouTube where it's Jeremy Rupke in the NHL All-Star competition a little while back, accuracy competition, and he's taking all of his shots like this, off that inside leg. And Barry Melrose says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, kids, never shoot like that. That's the wrong way to shoot. You get no power." And the second guy jumps in and says, "Barry, he scored 50 goals in the NHL last year. I think he knows what he's doing." And Barry Melrose snaps back, 17 years Barry Melrose Hockey School. I think I know what I'm talking about. So this is kind of the things that are going on in minor hockey. And I'm hoping that, I'm not saying this is the only way to teach how to shoot. It's just ideas. And you guys can take these and hopefully help your players improve. So first thing is just shooting stance. There's a lot of ways to deliver a good shot on net. So how I usually start with my players is 2 feet, weight in between the legs. You're well balanced, knees bent, hips bent, hands out, and we're just going to take that shot. So this is simple, and what we're really targeting here is the arm motion. So hands away from the body. You can see this space right here. Turn a little bit there. So you have to get that space so you can pull back with that top hand, push with the bottom hand, and get that power. Nice hard power right there. All right, so with that, that's the foundation of a lot of shots. Okay. Second stance would be off of this leg. So getting the players on that inside leg, same thing. They've started with this stance. They're balanced. Now you're going to get them balanced on that inside leg, and the same thing with the arms, pulling back with that top hand, creating that space, pushing with the bottom hand. And you want to get them to hold that balance. Now I usually do this off ice, right? So it's really easy. They're in the running shoes, they're balanced, and just have them hold that position. And then the third foot position that we work on is a bit of a split stance. So this isn't having that weight transfer just yet. It's that split stance, and you have some space right there. And you'll see guys like Vladimir Tarasenko. He's really good at getting into this stance. I call it split stance. It allows you to drop your weight, use the stick. Oops, missing out on that one. And get a good shot. And the last one is when we're transferring that weight into that split stance. So those are a few different ways. You'll see Crosby. He usually shoots like this. He comes in, he's got a wide stance. He splits, right? Has that position, that wide stance, and then gets that shot off. It's almost all upper body. So there's a lot of ways to shoot the puck. I'm going to get into the progression. So going back to how usually we teach the shot, pulling back, weight on that back leg, transferring the weight to the front leg, pulling back to the top hand, pushing with the bottom hand. What I've done is taken it from the back, so I start at the end, work to the very beginning. I'm going to move some of the pucks out of here. I find that with young players, this is really easy because I'm helping. I start at the end, get them to be able to elevate the puck, and then we add power to it. And you can use this even with older players, more advanced players. What we're doing is getting them to target specific spots in the shot, and it really helps you diagnose a player. If he has trouble with his shot, if you go through this entire progression, you can usually find what he really needs to work on, and it helps the players identify and feel what they need to improve. And I always like to work on feel. So I'm always asking the players, how did that feel? How did that feel? Because you're helping them discover something instead of just telling them what to do. So first in the progression, we're using the wrists. So we want to only use the wrists in the shot, specifically targeting them. So you get the puck in the sweet spot. It's lined up with the toe. You have your toes pointing towards net, chest pointing towards net, knees bent. And what we want to do is only use the wrists and try not to use any other part of the body. So we're using, on the blade, closed, open, closed. To do that, you're just quick twitch of the wrist. So closed, open, closed, and that's going to get a shot on net. If you have a radar gun, that's going to be about 20, 30 miles per hour. And that's all we're doing. So if you get players, this could be all you need to do, right? So when you're teaching those players, if you have the coaches saying, this is the only way to shoot, you're doing all this, all this, all this. If you get a player that says that's the only way to shoot, and they're in close to the net, and they want to get a shot off, if they spend their time going like this, and going like that, that might be too much time, when all they really needed to do, it's just that wrist motion. So my philosophy is that if the puck ends up in the back of the net, it's a good shot. I want to arm players with as many different ways to release a good shot on net. So that's the first one, just the wrists. Second, we're going to target the elbows, next joint. So here we've already done the wrists. Now we're working on pulling back with that top hand, pushing with the bottom hand, a little bit of downward force, and that quick snap motion. So that quick snap motion combined with that wrist snap, that's what I call finishing your shot. You can still get a shot off without doing either of these. So a little sweep here. There was no wrist motion, there was no arm movement, but it looks like I still took a good shot on net. It's just a sweep. So by doing these targeting, this targeting, making the players only use the wrist, only use that snap, if they were sweeping the puck, and now you get them to do that and that, they can sweep the puck and then add that snap to then the shot. They're finishing their shot. It's going to add a lot more power and accuracy. So for this one, same thing. Toes pointing at the net, chest pointing at the net, a little bit of knee bend. You got to create that separation. And now we're just really focusing on pulling back with that top hand. And you're adding about 5 to 10 miles an hour right there on top of just the wrist snap. So, whoops. If you're watching here at real speed, it might not look like I'm getting my hands out like this, like I'm showing you. If you watch in slow motion, especially if you guys have iPhones recording 240 frames per second, what you'll see happen, and you can watch Slow Mo Monday on NHL YouTube channel, what the players do is they punch that top end out first and then pull it back. So their hand might be here when they take the shot, and it looks like it doesn't move, but really quickly they're going to punch that out and pull it back to create that space so they can get that nice snap motion. So those are two. One extra thing I want to add with the wrists. These are the last joints used in the shot, so you can control accuracy with it. When you're asking your players to target the wrists, you can get them to open the wrist more, puck's going to go higher. I'm going to put that one over the net. If you get them to close the wrists more, roll them more, puck's going to go lower. And then you can do a little bit of left and right adjustment as well if you open more, or close more, open more. So by letting players know about that information, they can take that home and practice on their nets at home, and you're going to come back with a better player because they're just more aware of what they can do. So we did the wrists, we did the elbows. Next is the shoulders. What we're doing here, the first two, the puck hadn't moved. It's in that sweet spot. I could expand more on that if we had some more time. I'm going to go with right to the shoulders. So all we're doing here is moving the puck back, right? The more time the puck is in contact with the blade, the more time that you have to build power on it. You don't need a lot. We don't need these huge wind-ups. I'll get to that a little bit later in weight transfer. So we start with just drawing the puck a little bit back, pulling it into that sweet spot, and then we go to this position, and then pull push. So that's it. And you can do this with the toes pointed towards net, or you can get in the split stance here. You just don't want weight transfer because we're targeting just this movement here. Do one more here. All right. Next up, fourth thing is weight transfer. This is what you hear all coaches always yelling: transfer your weight, transfer your weight, transfer your weight. So in this one, we're targeting that. We've already done the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders. We want to really focus on that explosive movement. When it comes to shooting, you want everything to happen in sequence. Boom, 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 explosive movement. So it starts with a really strong, powerful push from that back leg. And you'll see guys transferring their weight. That's transferring my weight, but it's not good enough. You want them to really focus on an explosive push off that back leg. So that's all we're going to do here. Bend that back leg, transfer the weight, but make sure you really target that explosive movement. So it starts with a boom, big explosion, ends with a nice snap, right? You really have to focus on that pull push at the end. Last thing is using the stick, right? Getting that flex. So what I find is the best position to get flex on that stick is basically when you guys go to the store and you grab a stick and you flex it like that. That's pretty much the position you want to release the puck from. If you're working with younger players, you'll see them releasing the puck in all kinds of funny spots. So I'm just going to put this here. This is a quick little drill that I go through with some of the younger players, and I just ask them, don't move the puck. Try to release the puck off of the ice or the ground if you're working at home from here. So in this position, the stick isn't set up properly to get that nice pull, the top hand's here. You can't really get a good snap there. So they're going to go like this. And then I ask them, tell me how that felt. Same thing here. Try to shoot the puck from right there. How did that feel? What about here? All right, I'll move this one. If you try to release the puck too soon, usually the puck goes over there. This happens a lot with the really young players. They try to release it way back there. So that helps them find the sweet spot, which is right there, getting the hands away from the body. All right? So yeah, the last one is the stick, right? Getting in that position. If you, there's a good video from Mike Camilleri, and what he does is he pulls the puck in towards his body first, and that allows him to get his weight over the shaft and drop his weight onto the stick and then flex it, right? You're getting that potential energy. The way sticks are designed now, you can load these things right up, get a lot of power from them. So instead of having this path right here, pulling the puck from there and releasing it there, what I ask the players to do is pull it in from here and release it from there. And that just gets it close to their body so they can use their body weight to drop onto the stick. Right? And this is used within all the other steps. But by asking them to really focus just on this one spot, it allows them to feel shooting one way, shooting the other way, and then allow them to better take grasp of the skills you're trying to teach. Just pulling the puck in, and getting that nice push. So we're doing all 5 steps. So that's a basic shooting progression. Now, in a game, you don't have to use every single one of those to get a good shot. You can use that and drop them into the other types of shots, right? So now if we're shooting this stance right here, we're just using the wrist and that snap to get a good shot. If you're in close, rebound comes, you're right here, you need to get a shot off. Now you're just using the wrist, you're still getting that good shot off. Sometimes you can use 3 of those, sometimes you can use 5. So I call them the building blocks of a good shot. And I found that working with players and teaching them this way really helps them discover new ways to get more power and accuracy from their shot. So that's all the time I have here. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. And I'd love to hear from other coaches, any ways that you've used to help your players improve. Let me know. I'll be hanging around afterwards. I'm always trying to get more information, get better, tweak, and create really efficient ways to help players. So if I have them for half an hour, I want to get help them as much as I can in that half hour. Thank you very much.